Why can't Kat do something else? Why can't Eva do something else? Why do their stories have to revolve around each other? Back to review yet another day of Beyond the Gates, a Friday episode today. And while today was not filler Friday, at least, I still didn't necessarily enjoy today's episode. There was enough irritating things to keep me away from that. In fact, I like to usually start off on the positive and go to the negative, but I'm starting off with my rant today because I am so over this Kat and Eva rivalry. I've been saying this for months and I still feel this way. This rivalry has quite literally ruined both characters. I feel as though this show struck gold at the beginning with two great actresses in these roles, and so they saw the rivalry brewing, and it was good at first, but the writing has not been able to raise its own bar to keep this rivalry going in a good way, and instead the writing, in my opinion, has hurt both characters. And what sucks about it all is both characters don't have a storyline. I think that is my main issue. Kat doesn't have a real storyline. Everything revolves around her obsession with Eva. Eva doesn't have a storyline. Everything revolves around how she feels emotional about the way Kat treats her. I get that they're half sisters and they don't have a good relationship, and maybe Eva wanted that at first and Kat didn't. But at this point, why can't they just let bygones be bygones and not deal with each other? And I get it. Maybe it wouldn't be a soap opera if that were to be the case. But I think it would make for both characters to be better TV is what I think it comes down to. I don't think either character is good TV right now. And at the end of the day, this is a TV show, and I think that's what you need. So the first way this rivalry went wrong is when they shoehorned Tomas into it and tried to make it a love triangle between the three characters. And that was the first part of both characters being ruined, because Kat became someone trying to hang on to Tomas, where it seemed like she only wanted Tomas at one point because Tomas wanted Eva and she wanted to win. In fact, we had many scenes like that. So every time Kat and Tomas act like they're a great couple right now, it just makes me chuckle because it's a fucking joke. And then Eva ends up sleeping with Tomas at one point, and she gets played by the loser too. But now they seem to be wanting to do a new triangle with Izaiah. And I don't know if it's going to be a triangle. I don't know if it's going to be a quad triangle. Either way, it's going to suck though, because both characters now suck. Eva and Kat have been ruined because the writing doesn't know what to do with them. I'm so sick and tired of the obsession that both characters have with each other. Many characters on the show have multiple storylines going on. The Danny, Bill, Andre, and Haley stuff is a big example of that, because we have Haley poisoning Bill, but we also have Bill and Danny's toxic pull to each other, but we have Andre. There's so many layers to that story. Why can't Kat do something else? Why can't Eva do something else? Why do their stories have to revolve around each other? I'm sick of it. I don't even want to talk about their scenes today. It was just Eva, I guess, being jealous because she saw Kat and Izaiah together. But then Kat was being a hypocrite, calling Eva insecure. Eva did have the good line saying Kat is insecure because she tries to undermine Eva any chance she gets, which is true. Kat is always trying to undermine Eva with people. It's old. Is old. So if the obstacle for Eva and Izaiah is Kat, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I do not care. Do not care. It's stories like this, along with the Ashley and Derek always having scenes together, that make me want to stop watching the show live and just watch it on Paramount Plus so that I could fast forward through the suckage. Moving on from the Eva, Kat, and Izaiah stuff, because I don't even feel like recapping the rest of it. Per usual, Haley and Bill were probably the most interesting parts of the episode today, but that's honestly not saying much, especially with Haley and Randy today. They were together bickering about the plan. It is becoming a bit repetitive, but I still find Haley and Randy being con artists one of the more interesting storylines going on with the show, but the show's not writing them as very good at it. Randy was upset with Haley today because she is in fact upping the doses of this slow ass poison that she's using. Randy wanted it to be a slow acting poison, but she's been upping the dosage. Randy says that hurrying it along is screwing up because the toxins won't show up in the lab, but that Bill might start to have obvious medical changes that upping the doses would do to him, and doctors might see that. Meanwhile, Bill was at a doctor appointment today with Madison. A lot of their scenes were actually about Madison, who is going on a sabbatical, saying she's going to move out of the country for the rest of the year. Bill's going to have to get a new doctor, but she wanted to have one last checkup with him. Bill realizes that it's probably problems between his daughter and Madison that is making her leave the country. So Bill did call up Chelsea to tell her what Madison was saying and that Madison is leaving the country. Meanwhile, the show did make sure to point out that Grayson was doing the blood work today. You know, that is the whole storyline going on with the Impaler, that it's some sort of black market blood thing. I forgot what it actually is, but it seems as though either the show is trying to make it too obvious that it's Grayson, or Grayson really might end up being our Impaler. But once Madison did get Bill's test results today, she did notice some abnormal stuff in his test results, and she's telling Bill not to panic, but the new doctor will have to run some additional tests with him. So Bill came back to the office in a mood, or just feeling not good, and Haley was in the office waiting for him because she's been revving up, ready to have sex with him for it seems like several episodes now. But Bill's not in the mood, and he starts to tell Haley that the doctor may have found something wrong. And Bill is also starting to realize that he hasn't been feeling well lately. He's been feeling a little off. We saw that a lot in yesterday's episode. I like the movement in this story. I think what is still good about the story, even though it is moving so slowly, it's a slow ass acting poison. But I don't know where it's going to go, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know if Bill's going to start to get sicker and sicker and start to maybe eventually realize that Haley could be a part of it. We do see in next week's preview, he's mentioning how Haley's always giving him tea. We still don't know where Lynette's really going to play into all of this, if Randy's going to play in more to this. So there's good directions for this story that it could go. Unfortunately, it is moving slow. Like I said, Bill let Chelsea know that Madison's leaving town. So Chelsea was ranting to Kat today that Madison's leaving the country, leaving her, and not even telling her about it. Kat was trying to say that maybe this is Madison's way of giving Chelsea space without judgment, like Madison wanted, but Chelsea doesn't want the relationship with Madison to end. She went to Madison today to tell her she shouldn't be leaving without saying goodbye. She started ranting and raving to Madison that they can still work together just because they have these differences, just because it's going to be difficult. We'll see if Chelsea gets Madison to stay in town or not. I am still having a hard time being too interested in these two as a couple, because for too many months a lot of their stories took place off screen. And today we saw Nicole living her best life. Nicole is definitely enjoying being single, a single divorcee, because she's making plans with Kyle, and then today she's texting Carlton, who wants to come over. Nicole was once again getting all dressed up. Carlton came over for their date, but it quickly became freaky again. They had a lot of love scenes again today. Can't say I cared about him, but I like that Nicole is letting loose for once. I will say, as annoying as Kat can be, Kat can also be right a lot, and Kat has been worried about this change in Nicole and what it might mean. So we're going to see if Nicole actually does spiral too out of control with her newfound singleness. But for now, I think it's just realistic. And then also on today was Vernon trying to show Anita a good time, trying to get both of their minds off of the C word. He did not want to talk about the cancer today on their date. He got the country club to be private just to them today. He did a lot of dancing with Anita, and they were having a really good time. And it did take their minds off of the C word, but that was until Anita started to notice that her hair was falling out. So the chemotherapy is starting to take effect. I expected this to be the next part of the cancer story. It's a staple in soap opera cancer storylines. Gotta lose your hair at some point. So Anita started freaking out and wanted to go home without even mentioning the word. Vernon, per usual, has been killing these scenes with Anita. I've really thought that Vernon has been the most realistic part of this cancer storyline. You could always see him as just being a very concerned husband, just being, there's always fear in his face. He's trying his best to live a more normal life right now, but it's obviously very hard. So that was it for today's episode. Definitely not my favorite, and I've seen some spoilers for Monday's episode, so I think Monday's episode is going to suck too because there's going to be a lot of Ashley and Derek. And yeah, but I do think with February Sweeps starting next week, the first episode of February Sweeps might not be that good, but it looks like it could be a really solid week of February Sweeps, or at least that's wishful thinking on my part. But I'm hoping for the best. We do see in the preview that Danny's going to tell and Andre she kissed Bill, so that has potential for drama. So looking forward to that at least. I will give my full assessment of the preview on Sunday if I have time. But yeah, I wish this week didn't peter out because last week was so good and this week started good. But yesterday and today were unfortunately on the weak side. I really wish the show would get their act together where the Kat and Eva characters are concerned, because they have truly been botched as characters. Like, they don't write storylines for them. They just think that this rivalry is like their only story, but I don't see how the show doesn't see that both characters like suck. They're pathetic. They are characters that are getting harder to watch because not only are they looking pathetic all the time, but like they're so repetitive with this damn rivalry.